Mike called us all stars. After midnight, carriage turns back into a pumpkin, and we're back to who we really are. We're all open mic gypsies. We're the wannabes, the almost famous, the has-been famous, never going to be famous. We're the next wave, the new wave. For some of us like me, it's a permanent wave. We'll show up for the opening of a bodega, you give us 5 minutes and a microphone. Open mic is our training wheels, it's our mistress, and it's our siren's call. Who are we? We're that aging Mulberry Street guinea comic, whose jokes now mock the Guido Soprano's Jersey Shore white beater t-shirt image of himself he's so carefully constructed and played out for most of his life. We're that radical Swarthmore lesbo, who chooses to protest now without words or signs, displaying her flawless porcelain body in burlesque reviews that ridicule our obsession with fame and sexuality, while titillating male tourists' imagination with the wonders of possibilities that will never be. We're the English Lit PhD, bullied by the kids on his block for being an uppity nigger, too smart for his own damn good. Well, now he's relentlessly rapping and slamming his truths on open mic. No apologies, no regrets. And in your fucking face, brother. We're the second generation freckled mix, singing songs of rebellion and anarchy to comrades in an Irish homeland that only seems real now on a drunken St. Paddy's Day. We're the skateboarding middle-class Jap kid who grew up on the Beatles and rock and roll, wants to put his own stamp on our music. He's got to work in his mom's sushi joint till that happens. We're the lapsed Catholic ex-altar boy, too damaged for any real relationship. His poems cry out his loss of faith after being irreverently probed as a child by his parish priest. We're the self-educated beaner busboy, studies English and writes poems on a park bench, who dreams in vain of being a real waiter someday, replacing that pretty white girl who smiles enticingly at him while stealing part of their shared tips to feed her habit. We're the Afghan war bird out, who traded bullets and IEDs for shots of heroin and Jameson to ease the pain, while writing diaries of a love lost in Ohio, and drifting off into combat nightmares at AA meetings. We're the gifted Israeli artist who, unmarried, unapologetic, and rejected by her community for the crime of being single and female at 40, now blesses the locals here with tattoos of exquisite beauty and new songs of a new love. We're the dropout fag college student from Levittown who didn't fit his parents' expectations of who he was supposed to be, but who fits perfectly into a slinky lame cocktail gown and stilettos for his stand-up routine. And he turns tricks on the side for more money than his dad makes in a month. We're the Hasidic Jew boy who dropped acid, trekked the Himalayas, and became a Buddhist monk, spilling out saffron rap poems of beauty and oneness to passersby on street corners who never listen. We're the pimple-faced kid from the burbs, escaping a boring, tedious life, popping oxy from his mom's medicine cabinet till he comes down here to sing his story. We're the New Yorican street boy from Avenue B, who graffitis his way into showings at prominent village galleries, raps his shit on open mic, and gets to fuck a beautiful blonde white girl from Minneapolis, which is all he ever really wanted to do. We're all here downtown on open mic in the village. The line in the sand is 14th Street. You cross that, you take your chances. You're in our world now. It's late. I'm sitting alone at the bar working on my 4th double jack. Feeling pretty mellow. She leans across 2 seats, taps me on the shoulder, stares me dead in the face and says, "You look like Pablo Picasso." She's really pretty, I guess late 30s, early 40s maybe. Sculpted cheekbones, great body packed in tight black leather. Straight black long hair, and bangs almost covering those haunted, crazy eyes. Exactly the woman I've always been a sucker for. Pablo Picasso, yeah, I'll bet you get that all the time, huh? No, not really. She spots my fancy camera in the bar and says, "Hey, you're a photographer?" Sometimes, mostly I tell stories. She flashes a broad Cheshire cat grin. "Hey, me too!" And she drifts off into some rambling drug story with a couple of lame attempts at being funny. You know, everything you say seems to have some kind of sardonic twist at the end, like a comedian or something. She looks up at me suggestively and she says, "Well, that's because I am a comedian." "Really? What kind of comedy do you do?" She says, Dada. A Dada comedian? Could she really be that hip? Come on. She says, what kind of comedy do you do? I repeat, I'm not a comic. I tell stories. She coyly replies, well, I'm sure my stories are a lot better than yours. As she slowly moves her face and her lips in very close to an attack position. Come on, I've got a Speedo at home that's older than you. She dusts me off saying, you couldn't even come close to my stories. Have you ever done crack? No, I stopped at mescaline and coke. You obviously didn't. She again ignores my comment. Well, what comedians do you like? Sarah Silverman, Andy Kaufman, I guess Richard Pryor and Lenny Bruce are my all-time favorites. They always took everything right to the edge and jumped off no matter what the consequences were. Wow, you know everybody thinks I am Sarah Silverman. Really? Actually, in a dark bar with a couple of jacks in you, she does look like Sarah Silverman. And Andy Kaufman is my hero. He was my role model. She rests her hand on my thigh. My Cialis instantly kicks in. It's telling my body I'm 40 years old again. And Jack Daniels is agreeing with me. He's whispering in my head, you can do this, man. Go for it. She seems pretty intelligent. She's somewhat creative. She's attractive, very sexy, and very fucked up. Just my kind of girl. I gave her my card and I invited her here tonight. Sarah, you back there somewhere? Why do they still entice me, these beautiful, intelligent crazies? Do they see the leftover crazy in these old eyes past the wrinkles in the beat-up face? Shouldn't she be able to see in me that it doesn't work? I'm living proof. I have the scars of battles lost with drugs and booze and crazy. More important, why do I feel this incredible emotional and sexual magnetism here? It's an old feeling. I miss it. It feels good. Is it just a Jack Daniels and the Cialis, purely a chemical reaction? I don't think so. I know better, but still, I want to throw her in the back of a '60 Triumph Bonneville and race off to some cheap motel and make hard bandit love to her, man. We're crazy. You know, that's what we do, right? We feel bad tomorrow. Forget about it. We're both losers, heading for a Bonnie and Clyde ending here. Pablo Picasso and Sarah Silverman. Two fucked up souls irreversibly driving into a head-on, dead-on collision. She leans in and she hugs me way too tight. I feel myself wanting a lot more, but you know, sometimes age actually imparts a little bit of wisdom. I grab my camera and I head for the door. I hear her yelling behind me, hey Pablo, why are you leaving, man? Well, I've been in this same sad movie way too many times, and I don't like the ending anymore. I'm 8 years old. I know one thing for sure. I love my mother. At 12, I think I love Jesus. At 14, I love Maureen, but she likes my best friend. At 16, I'm in love with Cass, but I'm dating her best friend. At 18, I'm just angry. I think nobody likes me. I hate everybody. At 21, Rosie's really in love with me. We hang out for a year, and I never even noticed that she's a hooker. I'm drunk all the time. I never loved her anyway. At 23, I'm madly in love with Carol. We're even engaged until she dumps me at 25. When I confess, I think I might want to be an actor instead of the middle-class banker I promised her. Yeah, I know I'm being selfish, but I'm still heartbroken. At 26, Sharon and I are deeply in love. She constantly tortures me with endless flirtation and tests to prove that I love her. After 3 years of fights and anxiety, I'm exhausted. I just quit loving her. It's then she chooses to become the woman I thought I originally fell in love with. It's too late. It's over. She asked me if we could at least be fuck buddies. I said, sure, okay. At 30, I'm in love with Eileen, but it's the onset of women's liberation. She weighs our relationship in terms of what her women's liberation group feels is appropriate. She dumps me because they tell her I'm too sexist. I'm not a sensitive enough guy. She leaves a parting message on my answering machine saying, thanks, you helped me grow. Grow what, a dick? How's that for sensitive? 22, I'm living with Susan. Oh, she's a free spirit. She feels an open sexual relation is necessary to fulfill herself as a woman. She runs off to Canada to live in a teepee with some hippie. She leaves her needy sister behind in my apartment till I work up the guts to kick her out. I sleep with a lot of women during these summers of free love. I don't have much fun, and I got to clap 3 times. I really did. Thank God for the Dollar Clinic on St. Mark's Place. A friend offers a telling observation. She says, you know, all the women you think you're in love with, they're really the same fucked up person. They just look different. Wow, a moment of clarity here. She offers me a blind date with her best friend to prove her point. I accept. And I believe I feel real love for the very first time. Yep, here I am. 40 years later, and I'm still asking myself, what the hell is love? And I realize now I might never know the answer. The feeling it's more of an abstraction rather than a tangible sensation. At this late stage of my life, I feel like I know as little about love as when I started. I'm very grateful for all the love I've been given, but I have no clear feeling for how much I've ever honestly returned. Yeah, that's a sad one. Hey, I don't know exactly when or what the fuck happened, but nobody wants to get crazy anymore. Nobody seems to have the need to blow off some steam and scream once in a while, you know? After a couple of weeks of trying to be normal, I need to get crazy, if even for a couple hours, just to stay sane. All my getting crazy friends, they keep getting married, getting sober, getting religion, getting in rehab, getting in shape, or getting dead. I partied my way through 4 generations of getting crazy friends. I keep losing them to real life. Nobody wants to get crazy anymore. What the fuck happened with you guys? Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. A wretched refuse from your... Wait a minute. Weren't we all part of that wretched refuse? Weren't we the outcasts, the freaks, the faggots, the tattooed rockers, the weirdos, the nerds, the techno geeks from all those puckered-ass towns in the middle of America where we were ridiculed, bullied, and beat up? We came down here to the village, immigrants from that other America seeking refuge, freedom to let out the crazy creative shit inside. What happened? This was the village, Bohemia, home of free thought. When did we submit to politically correct? We let Giuliani and Bloomberg sucker us into becoming part of some great I Love New York theme park? Is anything left to experience for real here? Washington Square Park has been cleaned up and they made it all pristine. Tompkins Square Park, it's a playground for kids and dogs. They don't want you there anymore drinking and smoking weed. East Village has been gentrified. You better be careful or you better behave yourself. Little Italy, mean streets, gangsters, bookies, social clubs, mafia, all gone. Nothing left but a couple tourist track restaurants and some fake festivals. It was swallowed up whole by Chinatown. Times Square. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, the Lion King, I Love New York t-shirts. The flea circus is gone, the dollar hot dogs and the midnight movie triple features are gone. The religious soapbox crazies and the Harlem hustlers are gone. The sleazy jerk-off peep shows, dive bars, tranny hookers, loose joints, they're all gone. Where do we get the provender for new stories, new adventures? Manhattan was always scary, but it was real, it was exciting. It fed the veins of generations of art junkies. Village. Just another stop on the Grey Line bus tour now. Yeah, we all become background extras for the daily deluge of tour buses, TV, and film crews. They invade our neighborhood, try to package our environment, hoping to add some local color and excitement to their bland, made-for-middle America TV shows and movies. They think they're making art, it's video junk food. Pay for those same assholes and bullies we thought we left behind in Shit City, USA. Now we're safely contained and declawed like zoo animals. They gawk at us when they ride by on those double-decker tour buses. Or we enter the home safely locked up and contained as background images on their widescreen high-def TV sets. Our silent submission gives them permission to look down on us and feel superior. You know, there's a village bookstore that hosts an open mic where performers like me are requested to not speak 5 specific 4-letter words because we might scare off the paying customers. Hey, If words scare you, stay the fuck out of bookstores. Your children are screaming out those very same words on their Christian and Orthodox school buses every day. We hear them. Didn't George Carlin win that fight for us a long time ago? This is the Village. If you don't like it, go back to Yonkers or Oyster Bay or wherever the fuck you come from, where your smiling, genteel neighbors are probably whispering those very same four-letter words about you behind your back. What happened to hang out, drink cheap wine, and talk about art, stumbling out of the White Horse Tavern at 2 a.m., smelling wino piss and garbage on hot August sidewalks, wanting desperately to walk in the literary footsteps of O'Neill, Thomas, Kerouac, Ginsberg, Pfeiffer, Dylan, Mailer, Hamill, Cummings, Corso, Ferlinghetti, and all those other immigrant vagabonds who painted portraits with words of the America we wanted to live in. I want to write poems on a midnight fire escape under moonlight. I want to make fast, intense love in a dark tenement doorway while the lowest sight of fighting cock heralds in the sunrise. I want to sing the song of my life to the world on a park bench with a guitar. I want to get wild, get creative, get crazy, get arrested, get high, get excited. I just want to feel alive again. Hey, fuck it. You know, maybe we should all dress up like beatniks and hippies and take pictures with the tourists and be done with it. Hey, welcome to the I Love New York theme park.